How has transplant really changed things for you? Was there anything as you were going through the process that you look at the world differently now?
Oh, absolutely. Priorities are very different now. The whole don't sweat the small stuff, right? That's a big part of the way I look at things right now. So much of it is small stuff.
Of course. Yeah. So what'd you do to prepare for the games today?
Well, I had to get back into shape again. My transplant wasn't that long ago. It was 18 months.
Wow.
And it was a lung transplant, which is swimming was the last thing that I could do. When they cut your sternum like that, it was I was actually running and doing other things with my lower body, but swimming with my upper body was a little bit harder for me. I had a lot of chest tightness and everything, so it took me a while. So I'm a little slow at getting into swim shape. But it was pretty much just getting back on the horse again from my previous triathlon routine.
Yeah. So what other events are you competing in? We know there's cycling, I don't know, and there's running, so you really could do the whole triathlete thing while you're here.
Yeah, I am. I am. So I'm doing the cycling on Monday and then the running on Monday as well. And I'm also doing some of the track events, the 4x100 and the 4x400 relay. And then I'm doing trivia.
Trivia is fantastic.
I love trivia.
It's great how much there's so many different opportunities to do things here.
Yeah.
So given that this is your first Transplant Games, what do you think people need to know about this event as a whole?
I think it's, I think some people worry that transplants like the end of the world for them. There's a lot of nervousness about transplant. You can't go out in public, you can't do things again. But I think the most important thing to know is there is life after transplant. A very fruitful, very exciting life after transplant, and we're all capable of doing these amazing things still.
Fantastic. I mean, so are there any support groups or anything that you've participated in to keep that positive attitude, to keep that engagement?
I don't know about. So I had a lung disease, and I still participate in the. In that support group. Even though I'm on the other side of it now, I still like to engage with that group. They're called the PF Warriors. Pulmonary fibrosis is what I had. And, I kind of see myself, they sort of look to me as sort of like that beacon of light, hey, this is, your future doesn't have to be so grim. If you can get yourself healthy enough and be prepared and get on the transplant list and make it through, the journey doesn't have to end here. You can keep going and they find my story fairly inspirational.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any misconceptions that exist in the transplant world that you think, or outside of what you've already said, that you think people need to be aware of, or anything that you'd like to clear up from your perspective?
I don't know there's any misconceptions, but it's just the whole, a common phrase that a lot of doctors will use when around transplant is you're trading one condition for another, right? You've got a diseased organ and you're going to replace it with this new condition where you're immunocompromised and you have these other concerns. And, people worry about, I've talked to people that won't leave their house, and it's it's a risk thing, right? But you can manage your risk. I go out off peak hours. I don't go to crowded places. There's ways to manage and control your risk and still get out and do these great things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So based on your experience as a transplant patient, what do you think you'd like to see in the future of transplant as an industry?
Well, so now that I'm on the other side of the transplant, the whole rejection thing scares me.
Yeah.
So what you were talking about, being able to identify rejection, and then the medications, improvement on the medications, right? I take 3 medications to control my anti-rejection, but then I take 6 to control all the side effects.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to have, better medications with less side effects and those sort of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the medication development is such a challenge, and the adherence to medication we often hear is really challenging because of all those side effects that come with them.
Right.
What do you think, if you were going to tell an insight to somebody who's waiting for an organ today, or who's on the pre-transplant side of things, what would you tell somebody waiting for an organ?
Oh. You just got to have hope, I guess. There's not much. Just keep fighting. It's important to not give up. So when I was transplanted, I was on ECMO. I was in a very grim, dark place, and the doctors were actually starting to have discussions about whether I was strong enough to survive the surgery. That's how bad it was for me.
Yeah.
And you just have to, I had my wife and kids to live for,
Absolutely.
and you just can't give up.
Yeah. Well, it's great to be here and to be able to celebrate, the gift of donation, and to celebrate, you're in a pool and you're swimming and you're going to be cycling and running. That's fantastic. The lungs are working, right?
Yeah, they're working great.
That's excellent. So,
Sure.
so looking towards the future, what are your hopes and aspirations as you go into your next years with your graft?
Just keep doing what I've been doing. It's been a good life. It's been so nice to return. We had talked about skiing a little bit earlier. It was really kind of last November on the opening day at Snowbird. We got ski passes, and I think I had the energy for about 6 runs on the bunny slope.
Perfect.
And it was like the best 6, I never thought I'd have so much fun on a bunny slope before.
Of course.
After spending my entire life as a fairly accomplished skier. So, just getting back to all the usual things again and living my life again.
Absolutely.
That's really what I look for.
And hopefully next year, Great Scott will come for you at the Bird, and you can send your way down that one.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with me today. This has been an excellent experience. Thank you for sharing your story, and best of luck in the rest of the competition.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.